So Charlie Angus is a member of parliament in Canada, and recently he went viral on the Midas Touch Network with this clip I'm about to show you. He just really stands up and takes it to Donald Trump. And anytime someone stands up and takes it to Donald Trump, I'm going to be here to play that clip, and we're going to talk more about it. So let's watch this first clip, and then we're going to come back and see what else he's had to say here recently. But this one here is off the charts. Take a look.
So yes, they are our neighbors, but we have stood up to them. We're in a different situation with Donald Trump, a convicted predator who's seriously undermining the democratic process in the United States, and he thinks he can just push us around. Exactly. He insults us. Yep. You know, the conservatives seem to like it because he's insulting our prime minister, but he's not really insulting the prime minister. He's insulting Canadians, calling us the 51st state.
That's right, exactly.
You know, once there was a Canada that had a flag that didn't need to be waved. A flag that represented who we are. We didn't boast about it.
First of all, what I'd like to say to anyone out there listening from Canada, because I get messages all the time from Canadian listeners who are concerned about this sudden turn that Donald Trump has taken. I want you guys to understand one thing. We were every bit as shocked as you that he just suddenly turned his attention towards you. And what was even more shocking to me, which really I shouldn't be, is that his followers just went right along with it like they always do. Whoever Donald Trump tells them is the new enemy of the day, they will go after it. There was a time when guys in my part of the world grew up on 80s hair band music and dressed and dragged themselves and performed all around. And then suddenly when they were told to be mad at drag queens, they were all mad at the drag queens. And now they're being told to be mad at Canada. And I'm seeing hillbillies mad at Canada. And I'm going, why? Why would anybody have a bone to pick with Canada? They've been our neighbors. We've got along for years. I thought we were all good. What in the hell is suddenly up with this obsession with Canada? So I was really glad to see someone stand up and just give it back to Donald Trump. He may have been voted in as president here in this country, but a lot of us don't agree with him. We still don't agree with him. We'll still continue to call him out, and we will still stand with anyone that does, regardless of borders or regardless of where they're located. You know, if someone is going to take a stand against Donald Trump and stand up for us and stand up for democracy, then we're going to be all ears. But Charlie Angus recently came back on the Midas Touch Network to talk more about that clip, and he just keeps knocking it out of the park. Let's take a look.
I've got Charlie Angus here, member of the Canadian House of Commons. You know his video that went viral here on the Midas Touch Network, where he gave that speech pushing back against Donald Trump, saying, "You don't bully Canada, Donald Trump." Mr. Angus, what's the latest? What do you want to say to Donald Trump?
Well, listen, Mr. Trump, right now you're trying to shut down the American economy for Christmas. I mean, who does that? And what? Because Elon told you to do that? Like, you are plunging your nation and your people into a world of hurt. And so what are you doing? You decided you're going to pick on your quiet next door neighbor. That's like going to the librarian down the street and shouting at them to divert attention because the cops are after you. No, we're not going to put up with it, Donald. Here's the thing. We've got the world's longest undefended border. We got $100 billion worth of trade. We've got just-in-time delivery going back and forth all across the border. And you want to put not just Canada, but your own citizens in a world of hurt? What? To look like you're tougher than us? Well, go for it. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot of people on both sides. But the message that I'm hearing from people across Canada is they're not afraid of you because they know you're a convicted felon. They know that all the people that you bringing in to run your organization right now, and I call it an organization rather than a government, are all grifters and thieves and thugs. We got to look after our own interests right now. We will work with your country. We will work with our great neighbors. But Donald, don't push us around.
I completely understand why Charlie Angus would take this stand. I'm with him 100% on this one. It is as though someone picking on the quiet neighbor. It reminds me of all the years that I used to play in bars and someone would get drunk and out of order and they would take it out on the quiet guy sitting at the end of the bar that wasn't bothering anybody, or two dudes just overshooting a game of pool, minding their own business. And that usually didn't go too well because usually the quiet guy at the end of the bar, or the quiet guy's just over throwing darts and wants to be left alone. He's usually the last guy you want to mess with. Of course, Donald Trump didn't get that memo because his ego's so big. And now that he's got Elon Musk propping him up, his ego's even bigger. it's going to be very interesting to watch that love affair just crash and burn eventually, because those egos I really don't think are going to be able to coexist with one another. But again, it's just very disturbing to me to see people in my own country just suddenly go right along with this and now start blaming Canada for our problems, turn their attention there, and start threatening them with tariffs and all the things that Donald Trump has done. To see people get behind it and flex just shows truly how uneducated people are in this country and how easily they can be led. If Donald Trump turned their attention to Pineville, Kentucky, I'm sorry, guys, back home, but you better look out, because suddenly everybody would be ready to come to Pineville and declare war on it. It's ridiculous at the way people will just roll with these things, but I do not blame people for standing up for themselves, and I don't blame people for calling Donald Trump exactly what he is. We have to, because the mainstream media will continue to sane wash him. The mainstream media will continue to downplay everything. They will play into the game just enough to make it appear that they're his enemy, but we've already seen through that whole fake news narrative bullshit. In my mind, Donald Trump and the mainstream media, or as Trump or Musk loves to say, the legacy media, they will fail. No, man, you love them and you know it, because they propped you up all these years. I believe they ultimately will fail in time, because there are way more reasonable people out there who are tired of this crap. Now, the election didn't go our way, obviously, but trust me, there are a whole lot of people in this country who are really tired of this crap. And when they see these things like going after Canada backfire in their face, and all of the promises Trump made are going to fail again, their lives aren't going to get better magically like they thought they were. And a lot of those people are going to lose faith in the system. That's why it's important for us on our side to stay united and keep the faith, because they're about to lose it. They're about to lose everything. And yeah, I can hear some of you now saying, no, they won't lose it, Brando. They'll just blame it on the Democrats. True. There's a lot of them that will. But what happened back in 2020? A lot of people realized just how bad things were, and they showed up and voted for Joe Biden. They didn't show up again this time, and it's disheartening. But it's going to be a brutal 4 years of I told you so. It really is. And picking on Canada, what in the hell was anyone thinking with that idea? To my Canadian listeners, just know that not all of us down here are as batshit crazy as Musk and Trump, and not all of us follow after their propaganda. There's a whole lot of us that sees through it for exactly what it is, and there's a whole lot of us that looks like me, sounds like me, talks like me, has my accent, living here in Tennessee, going, hey, we're blue dot in this giant sea of red, but man, this is some ridiculous shit. Picking on Canada? Why? I'll never understand it. But it's just Trump and Musk's ego at work, and that'll backfire in their faces hopefully sooner than later, and we can start trying to pick up the pieces of this gigantic mess they've already made. But I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in every day here on the channel and supporting what I do. We're closing in on 500,000 subscribers. That's really hard for me to wrap my mind around. I just put that plaque up back in April, 100,000. So it's been a hell of a year. And hopefully we can keep our platforms and keep our voices out there for people to hear, and let people know where we stand on these things. So if you could help me get to 500,000 before Trump takes office, I'd really appreciate it. It don't cost nothing to hit subscribe. Also, be sure to check us out over on Patreon, because I've been putting a lot of non-political content on there. Been playing some music, and I've been interviewing musicians. Got some really good episodes of that coming out. We all need a break from this from time to time. It definitely does weigh heavy. These topics do, even though sometimes I might find a lighthearted way to go about talking about it. At the end of the day, this shit really weighs heavy on your mind, and sometimes you just need to get away from it. So if you want to get away from it with me and talk music or talk barbecue or talk cigars or talk whatever, I'm over on Patreon doing a lot of stuff like that. The link's in the description of this video, so you guys be sure and check that out. And again, I really appreciate all of you and all my Canadian friends and listeners for standing with me and supporting what it is that I do. And I hope that everyone has a great Christmas, great holiday, whatever you celebrate. I hope you and your family has a good one and gets through it. I do believe that at the end of the day, brighter days are ahead. It may not feel like it right now, but I truly believe that sometimes you got to go through the darkness to get to the end, and we'll make it. We won't stop. We won't give up. We'll keep fighting the good fight for democracy, and everybody just buckle up and hang on, because I'm not giving up anytime soon.